Hey, welcome to Fables at the Table. I'm Michael, the dungeon master for our campaign, and this rowdy bunch of peoples are part of it as well. We've got Zach over here. We've got
Hello.
Terry, Austin, and Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Hi, Chris.
Hi, Chris. Zach, Terry, and Austin are players, and Chris is our kind of behind-the-scenes producer man, helping me with all of the extra things.
We play characters on Table Fables. I don't think any of us are players. A lot of us are.
I'm not a player. I just crush a lot.
Yeah. He's married.
Oh, I'm married too. I crush my wife.
I get it.
Yeah.
Took me a second. I get it.
Are you
It's funny.
Right over my head. No clue what y'all are talking about.
You're older than him.
Uh-huh.
That's what just happened.
So, yeah, tonight was pretty crazy. I feel like a bunch of stuff happened. I would love to know y'all's thoughts on the session.
Where
start there.
to start? My goodness. Crazy.
Tell me.
I'm like working my brain backwards at everything that happened as it's piecing together backstories of different people.
Mm-hmm.
And one Schulf is just gone.
Yeah.
And by some sort of spherical into the air.
UFO.
We fought a dude that was.
And on that, you rolled a 16 and you were sure it wasn't a dragon, right? That's what happened there?
Yeah. So he's not with the dragon.
I've no
You're going to
So,
find
like,
out next.
I have
You'll find out
no-
on Tuesday.
It starts out with an epic battle that was fun, just chasing him down,
Yep.
trying to find him till finally he faces us to fight us. And I'm like, I don't think we can survive it because at that point,
He
Goebbels
started with
almost died.
75 hit points at level 1.
Why?
Because he's a bad mamma jamma.
Ask Wizards of the Coast. I don't know. I was
75
You
hit
survived,
point?
right? That's
It's like
his
CR1.
AC is 12.
Hey, listen, we didn't survive. I killed that dude.
You have 8.
Also, I added the fire vulnerability because I was like, he's going to murder you guys.
Absolutely.
Appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And this is
He
written.
one hit 2 of us.
I was the only
right.
I was the only person that did fire damage to him though.
Did he have regeneration of any kind?
Yes.
Or is that okay?
If he is in weather that's below 5 degrees, he regains 5 hit points at the start of every turn unless he's damaged with fire.
Did we
My
clip
word.
the part where we talked about how hot his mom was? Is it
I
different?
didn't.
Is it different hot from fire?
I didn't get the timestamp for it. I have a bunch of. I
It's
was
in there
writing
somewhere.
like memeable moments. I was like writing the timestamps and prompt that I had, and so
Well, I thought it was
okay.
really cool when one guy was eating, I think Josh called them poop steaks. Is that right? That was a cool part.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so
Beyond confused that entire time.
Yeah, I was like, we've been drugged.
Were you
Can
in
we
on
get an
it?
official ruling
My
on
wife-
prestidigitation?
Okay, who was
my
in on it?
wife, my wife texted me and was like, "Oh my gosh, what's going on? LOL. And then she was like, "Wait, are you making them high? Can I say that in the stream or will I get in trouble?" And I was like, "No."
That
So
would be
no, okay.
awesome.
So Terry,
I didn't slip shrooms in there.
no, Terry texted me and said, "I want to cast prestidigitation and make this taste like rotten eggs." Prestidigitation allows that you can flavor something for up to 1 hour. Ergo,
Interesting.
He was still a little bitter.
Interesting.
Well,
I've never
spiteful.
seen prestidigitation used like that before.
Oh,
I had to look
That's
it up to
why I
make sure it
haven't.
could.
the little
That's why I
prestidigitation
have it.
happening over here right now.
is so that I can do things that you probably shouldn't do.
it's the chair.
I think it's a wild card spell, and it's a cantrip. And why wouldn't
because it's like you can create like little sounds. You can like
Yeah.
blow out candles or
Fire, small flames.
That's
You can
right,
make doors and
small
windows
flames.
open.
yeah.
I have never
Close.
it happened once in another
that's
campaign
not
I was playing in, but prestidigitate was always used for like the most random stuff. Like it
Making
was
somebody
like
look clean.
yeah, it was just
Or
like
soiled.
Oh,
So one time,
yeah.
You can make someone soiled.
one
pants.
time the DM let me utilize it to make my horse believe that the druid that was in the form of a warhorse in front of him was in heat. And we'll just leave that there because we're keeping it family friendly. But there were
What's
lots
in
of
heat?
rolls after that, and there was some damage taken. It was weird.
Oh my. So Table Fables.
Yeah.
Yeah.
fantastic.
I love.
So you guys fought Cephik.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was an amazing fight. I have to assume again we didn't get to even go down this path because Teddy walked in and shot him. But I have to assume there was like some way to have gone through this that it wasn't going to be that we fought him, right? Like, was that even a possibility, or was it like we had to fight this guy in order to do it?
Yeah. He wouldn't have talked to you. He wouldn't have given any leeway. Like, it would have been either you let him go or not. Yeah. And if you would have tried to restrain him or keep him from leaving, he would have just formed a long sword and just tried to stick you with it. So
yeah, Teddy knew what he was doing. He did the first and the last damage. A little bit.
Part of the whole.
Technically, I not killed him basically with the fire until he stopped me.
Well, but that
I mean,
fire
whatever.
hit me instead, so I killed him
It hit both.
with a dagger.
Yeah. So do we want to talk about that?
Sure.
Yeah.
So-
what in the world?
Sure.
So Atla had cast firebolt.
Fire bolt.
Yes.
Yeah, with the bolt. He'd cast firebolt right into Cephic's face, and it would have killed him. And then I allowed something to happen that I thought would be narratively interesting because I can do that. And what was that thing?
I used my reaction to try and like push Atla's hand out of the way with the butt end of my hand my hand axe.
Forcing the fire away from Suffolk.
There's part of it that is totally what happened. I thought what you were doing, it's like you like grabbed his face and you were like melting it and like slowly killing him. And I was going right. So and I thought for the narrative, you were like casting it. And you were like, you said he was like, his face was melting. And I was like, oh, so it's kind of this constant
Josh
thing.
said that.
Someone said that.
Yeah,
and
I
I was
didn't
like,
say that.
okay.
He asked me, how do you want to do this?
Yeah.
And I was like, as fire's coming out of my hand and I'm trying to like, because we've all almost died. Gerbil's been down.
Yeah.
He was knocked out. You brought him back to life.
Yeah.
I was at 4 health, which is more than, I think I have like 11 health. So it's like,
I was still kicking it.
I was like, I got to end this guy for our survival. And so that was where the fire was coming out of my hand.
Yeah.
And you pushed it and it lined up there.
Yeah. So
Teddy.
Yeah, thank you for that.
So it ended up getting Teddy as well.
Yeah.
you're welcome, Teddy.
So that's why they were.
or am I talking to Terry?
Yeah, I'm still bitter for
So Terry is actually upset.
Teddy was. Yeah.
Okay, good to know.
No, I'm not upset. It was awesome. It gave Teddy a reason to be Teddy.
Yeah. So that took longer than I expected, but I was okay with it also
Yeah.
because
First battle.
first battle, but also
Yeah, first combat is important.
Yeah, it takes comfort.
75 hit points for a bad guy for your first encounter.
Oh, that's asinine. That is absurd.
And that's as it's written. Like I
Right.
literally,
Did we have 25 hit points between the 4 of us?
maybe
16,
Oh, well, then
22.
we did.
How much do you have?
11, 12,
You have
16?
Uh-huh.
You have like super high constitution.
A wizard with 22 hit
I'm
points.
He's not a wizard. I'm a wizard.
I'm a cleric.
But I thought you said you
dwarf
had
player.
22.
no, he's adding.
I'm adding up.
Oh, okay,
So we have like 38 or 40.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
So,
he-
you're
he's
gonna get
doubled our
good
H-
experience
our cumulative HP.
from that. In fact,
Yeah.
I'll tell you how much. Also, I have this cool little handy book thingy that I've
Yeah.
printed offs from
Mhm.
called Monster Loot. That's why I was asking. Because the whole concept here is like, because these things are so scarce, I have literally every monster that's in this adventure in here. And
That's cool.
I can give you guys things to make based on
I
that.
can't wait until we start finding some of this custom loot that you're making for us.
This is like one thing to just keep in mind. If this is the first encounter and this guy is like crazy intimidating, we need to know and understand that like we're going to fight some crazy intimidating things
Well, if it was
constantly.
well, if the end of the stream there was a white dragon, what is that CR 18?
Oh, we've got a distraction. We're gonna
Isn't it?
throw. We're gonna throw the little Yeti.
Aren't the
pup
white
out
dragons ancient dragons?
so the dragon can
adult
eat
white
it and we can
dragon
get away.
13.
Okay, not as
Ancient
high as I
is
thought.
very good fire.
Anyway, very high level.
It'll look like a little
Compared to
kernel of popcorn.
Were we told? Okay, so if you're watching and you haven't watched the latest session, recommend go and watch this
Yeah,
so you know what's
spoilers,
going on.
obviously.
Yeah, obviously
Oh,
this is
sure.
full of spoilers from session 2. The session ended with a white dragon flying at us, almost attacking us. We made it inside of a cave, and Teddy had visions, and so that we know that he has amnesia. He has a scar on his head, all that. he gained the memory of how he was taken out, and it was by this white dragon with someone riding the back of it.
Cephik is a CR3.
I don't know what that
That
means.
is
How does that translate to like a level
So that's
one?
a challenge
pretty much
rating.
what.
So
that's
that
like
would be
4 level 3.
CR3 would be a challenge for 4 level 3 characters.
Oh,
And had I not added the fire vulnerability,
one or two. of
and
us
you
would
guys
have
got some good hits on him, it would have been.
Yeah.
Were you keeping true to rolls, or like were you ever like, this is too hard and I'm like fudging some of these rolls?
I don't know, was I?
Come on, this is behind the scenes.
No, I actually.
Like his healing is what I'm interested about. His self healing.
If I ever hit him,
It's automatic. It's 5 hit points no matter what.
unless
But I did go one whole round without applying it on accident. There was one. So you did fire damage initially. So the next round he shouldn't have, and he did, which was my bad. But the next 2 rounds he should have regenerated, and he didn't. And then you did fire damage again.
One to him.
my damage was 12 and was 12 on that last hit anyway. It was like lowered because he was dead by 6 or something.
Right.
Yeah, 6 of it went to my face.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff I've been reading of like other people who've run this adventure are like, it will kill you. You need to make it not so hard for first level if you actually start at first level, or you need to just start at 3rd level. But you know what? We are starting
Yeah, we are. First
So-
level.
first level.
So we
Feels
got to
like
keep
it.
that in
I
mind.
like the
As we-
tough. I like
yeah.
it.
Which like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying like we did great in this battle.
You guys get 700 XP for killing him.
Is that
Is it 1,000
that's
level
700 levels, right?
Is it
70.
1,000 a level 1?
Yes. Level 2 is 1,000,
Oh my gosh.
Level 2 is 1,000.
I think.
Oh, sorry. Right.
Yeah, it's 1,000 XP, I think. I'll have to look.
So how much did we get from the first session?
None.
We didn't do
Kill
anything. Will we get experience for turning in said quest and getting our gold?
Probably.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit.
We're getting closer. Oh, gosh.
That was hilarious.
excited.
Yeah, so you guys fought Cephik, and then you dropped off the dude. Oh, and you.
It's 300 XP to level 1
Oh,
or level
cool.
2.
Cool. So you guys actually might be level 3 now. We'll cross that bridge here in a second.
Cool.
Sorry, I just got.
skip from
Thank you.
1 to level 3.
Would be fantastic.
That's a biggie.
Well, that also means you get to throw.
biggie.
I forgot. I've never played.
like a big jump for your character.
3 is when you get like your like good
Your
cool
schools, your
I've never played Wizard before, so like I'm looking. We get in this battle, and I'm looking. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm literally support. I guess I'm just gonna heal. And they're like, oh no, I'm a wizard. I can't even heal. What am I supposed to do? Keep using a dagger?
you're full damage, baby.
Get some.
Well,
I'm not even a glass
He's-
cannon. I'm just glass.
Yeah. Well, aren't you also doing like abjuration? So really, it's like
I'm not yet because I have to be. I think level
Level
3.
3.
Yeah.
So yeah, but we'll get there.
Like druids are very. You just think really creatively in.
He's a
He's a wizard.
Oh, you're a wizard.
Wizard.
So just in general, druids. Tell us that. Can we edit that out?
yeah.
Yeah, wizards are. You still get some spellcasting. Are wizards the
Spells. I have 2 spell
Eldritch
slots.
Blast stuff?
no, that's
warlocks.
warlocks.
Warlocks. Okay, I'm getting
That's like the thing
Yeah,
you can do.
like the only thing they do.
So, what are you going to do on your turn?
Blast. So I started blasting.
Yeah.
Eldritch Blast.
Yeah. So
I love the cold weather. I love just that flavor and everything.
Mhm.
Like you mentioned, like the little things that you're mentioning, I like remember it's like freezing cold.
Mhm.
Like I like that flavor.
I like
of
the-
everything.
The constant, like, as we continue, I would still say, like, still explain that every now and then because it got me so much more into the uniqueness of being a Goliath in it too, like explaining how everyone is like everyone, but Atla are like completely bundled up in those
Yeah.
things. And so, like,
Yeah.
with Goliath's resistance to the cold, it's almost like he's at home in that feeling a little bit, whereas everyone else is like bundled up, like
Yeah.
shivering a little bit.
Sure.
And he's
Well-
just like showing his arms and his sleeve, like
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the interaction with Elliot was great because it was a great reminder, just the way you described him. Even I thought it was funny, the accent you chose just made me think of
Yeah.
cold weather.
Yes.
yes,
you're almost to level 3, not quite.
Beautiful.
that's great. I think just from a player standpoint, for me, like I want to see him at level 2
Yeah.
because I know some of the stuff that happens for Atla at level 3. Like I want to RP to get there a little bit more.
It's a pretty big jump. It's 300 to level 2, 900 to level 3, 2700 to level 4.
Yeah.
So like it gets harder. And that's why I'm glad that we're doing
9, 20
XP instead of milestone, because if we were doing milestone, like I feel like it's really easy with milestone to just be like every session almost, or every other session, like you get to level up.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that
No.
because this is kind of fun.
Yeah, but I think the first time you talked about how serious and eerie and solemn, you kind of made it feel like that whole you're out in the snow and it's kind of a serious deal. And we have so much fun together that it lightens a little bit. But I felt a few times in this where it got just a little more of that kind of. There were a couple of times I'm like, okay, I need to pay attention right here because we're gonna die if not. That was really cool. Just drawing it in. You're doing a great job storytelling, and all the Elliot stuff was money.
Yeah.
Cool.
Elliot in general, like we're dragging a body off that may or may not be dead into an alley, and a massive furbolg shows up, and he's like, "I'm the sheriff," and you're immediately like, "I'm dragging him out."
Stop.
Drag him back to where he needs to go.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I just was
What is
looking-
that was a very intent look at me.
No.
Just the plesiosaurus in general, like looking that up and figuring out like, oh, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Is that like written into the story?
Yes.
Okay.
So essentially, because we're running like a smaller campaign, or like we're just going to get through it faster.
Yeah.
I condensed it to essentially like there's going to be like maybe 4 or 5 quests for like what I would call tier 1 of the story, and in reality, there are actually like close to 20 total.
Yeah.
Like from like the small little things.
Yeah.
You guys might get to do 4. But that's because there's a lot of ground to cover. And I was actually explaining to somebody earlier, like why I think Icewind Dale is a cool book compared to like some of the other hardbacks. Like I feel like we could play this again and you guys might have an entirely different experience depending on what city we start in and like what things happen and what characters you play, because what I told him, and this is incredibly vague on purpose, obviously, because I don't want to spoil anything. You have a main plot. Let's call that the story A. That's A story. There's also a B story, and there's a C story built into this adventure. So there's 3 layers of plot, 3 different things going on that could be different every time.
Well, Gerbil and I added a D.
All right, becoming gods.
We're going to become
Yeah.
gods.
Yep.
So that is now a
Can't forget about
focus
that.
and goal of this group. We will be the new frost gods.
Don't you? Never mind. I'm thinking about like D&D cosmology right now to figure out like becoming a god is.
Maybe demigods, but
Not
we'll be
impossible.
stinking gods, okay?
I don't think you. Okay,
It's not impossible. It's not
Yeah.
impossible.
It's going to
I
happen.
just yeah.
Either way, this
Totally.
session filled in gaps of like hearing about Teddy. I don't know if you've even explained it to us yet because you're just screaming. So we don't know that it's filled in this gap, but like I know as a player, and I'm like, oh, that was
Here's the
such
thing.
a good
I've
memory.
taken some liberty with Terry here
Yeah.
because
Well, my character hasn't told your characters, but also me as the player had no idea any of that until you guys learned it with me. So
Which
that's
makes it
all
fun.
new
Like,
information for
that
all
makes
of us.
it
Yeah, this new
lot
information
of
to you
fun.
just like it is for Terry.
Fantastic.
there's like the veil of the story almost that I'm trying to keep palpable the whole time.
Yeah.
And so there are things that are going to happen and ideas I have. And like when Colin comes back on Tuesday, so we'll be recording on Tuesday. What was that? Oh, were you just moving your mic? I just saw your hands move and I was like, what are you doing? Oh, okay. Yes, the microphone placement is perfect. So we're gonna pre-record session 3 on Tuesday, since next week is like the week of Christmas, and like Thursday we'll be traveling. But by the time the stream starts, also we need to figure out who's gonna run the stream, like who's actually gonna play the file, because I'll be driving to Tennessee.
I'm probably gonna be on there too.
We can figure that out on Discord later, but we'll hopefully have gotten to our hotel for the night by then, and or soon after, so I can jump in the chat and everything and be present that way. Colin is going to come back, and the first little bit of our session is going to be just me and Colin.
Nice. Cool.
You guys, obviously you guys will be in here, but I'm pretty
Colin and me. You said me and Colin.
Oh yes, yeah.
Sounds like mean Colin.
Colin and I
There we go.
will
that's
be
better.
sitting. We'll be chatting
Yeah.
about what is going on with Schulf. And you guys will meet back up, hopefully.
How does he?
I would hope so.
But I'm just thinking where we're at right now. Like in the
In the cave, like literally.
yeah.
I had planned for us to get like further than this by the end of the last session of session 2. I might have been a little overzealous. Because it's like, oh, Cephalic, though, no, cakewalk. And that was Michael forgetting.
75 hit point.
That was
cakewalk?
Michael forgetting that he was a CR3 when I was doing my planning this week. I also came up with some really fun NPCs that you guys got to meet one of them. I'm like
The plesiosaurus.
Elliot. I'll tell you the other names. I won't tell you the characteristics or what they look like, but I'll tell you the other names. We've got Kajimoto, Vashna,
Can you say it how they would say their name?
and Barklick.
Oh.
Yeah,
How
it's maple syrup.
how they would say their names? Okay, yeah, I can do that. Yes, my name is Kajimoto. It is such a pleasure to meet you. I have never met someone so tall in my life, and I'm just so glad to know you. My life is more complete because I know you, Adla. It was meant to be by the gods.
What a compliment.
And then you've got.
If you don't know why we randomly start doing an old voice, you have to check out our one shot where we did a Starfinder session.
It's on our YouTube.
And
Yes.
I laughed so often throughout that.
Yeah.
Like broke
Yeah.
character laughing, like had to like, take a breath. It was so good. Ooh.
Terry, I think you would have had a blast with that too. I definitely want to revisit Starfinder sometime next year.
Yeah, I'll need a whole year to figure it out.
We'll need like a session 0.0, and then we'll need a 0.1, 0.2.
The start
0.3.
That's our
Then we'll be
biggest
good.
point of feedback. There's a lot, which
Yeah.
makes it fun once you learn it.
Yeah.
It's just it's not something you.
It's also
quickly-
harder when you like use a hodgepodge of rules, but that's beside the point. So yeah, that was Kajimoto. Then there's Vashna, who, all right, just stop looking around. What's the problem? Let's get to it. All right. Well, I'm not sure about that. We'll have to get back to you. And then there's Barklick, who sounds like.
For some reason, I have like a big like orc. Barklick sounds like a big old orc that just kind of wanders in, like almost like his tongue hanging out of his mouth or something like that.
So how would that sound?
Pleasure to meet you. I'm Barklick. That's what I'm imagining.
He's got to quickly change Barkley completely. If it's too much of a spoiler, you don't have to do Barkley.
No.
I see the gist.
Couldn't be further from. I'll tell you what he. I will give you this. Barklick is a halfling.
Oh,
Halfling,
little
half
off.
orc, right? That's
a little off. Oh,
I don't know if the biology there
no,
checks
it
out.
works.
I mean,
okay.
no. Well, I don't know what got me into this mess, but I need to go home and rethink my life.
Cool.
I do not want to sell you death sticks. That is kind of the vibe of Barklick.
Death Stick?
Just go watch. Yeah, just go watch Star Wars, Episode 2.
Wait, are you serious?
I don't remember Death Sticks.
You want to go home and think your life. I want to go home. And
You know about Death Sticks, right? Terry?
Did he
Star Wars Episode 2,
Oh
Anakin
my
and
word.
Obi-Wan
Death Sticks.
are like
Like, you wanna
scouting
buy
out
some
this
death
bar.
sticks? Like, you don't want to sell me death sticks. I don't want to sell you death sticks. You want to go home and rethink your life.
I think
I want to go home and think my life.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember
You don't
now.
want to buy me. Right? You don't want to think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of
drugs, ladies and
episode 1, 2,
gentlemen.
and 3. So
Yeah, they're not that great.
Get out.
Um,
No, I'm kidding.
oh,
tell
okay,
me Jar Jar
this
Binks
might-
is an abomination right
this
now. Say
might
it.
have been
Sith Lord. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that theory.
this might have been glossed over, but what did you guys think of the interaction with the really, really old dwarf?
Loved it.
We forgot to give you a chance to follow up with them.
You didn't
I
go
didn't.
to the tavern in the
I
morning.
wasn't going to.
Oh. I didn't even piece that together.
I liked it.
There
It was
is-
cool. There's
there
like
is so much to all of our stories happening.
Yeah.
yeah,
There's a
because you got
lot.
something going on.
You
Obviously,
don't know anything about that.
he had something that sounded cool, but he's like, whatever.
I don't know what's going on.
Oh, okay.
That is all the DM.
And I love it.
Yeah, I have no
I mean,
clue.
Austin, the player,
This is the
is
most-
like
Secrets of the
is like
Past.
theories going out of like maybe because we all got something secret like handed to us. All the
Yeah.
players had something, some sort of thing, part of their backstory that is a secret.
Yeah.
It's not revealed. And so there's a part of me that's like, I'm like in the back of my head, I'm constantly trying to figure out what this little piece of information might be for each person
Yeah.
while also holding my information secret
Mhm.
at the same time. And I love that aspect of it of like, hey, here's a little secret thing. And I'm like, oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the most
Literally why I
fun.
play D&D.
This is the most
Secrets.
fun I've had DMing maybe ever because of tonight. Like just being like, I don't know, getting ready for this session and knowing like I'm going to interweave Terry's story into tonight and Austin's and Zach's
Mm-hmm.
all
And-
into one.
Even the guy not here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Schultz gone.
Yeah, and it was like a big part of it too, like the mystery of how did he just vanish?
Well done taking us on that little shelf thing in the forest. Well done. That was good.
So
So much intrigue.
I can either let you guys just hear this live
No.
next week.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Please.
Okay.
Please.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well,
I want to hear it
it'll be
live
great.
because I love where we ended too. Like
Yeah.
there's a baby Yeti running towards me. And can you do the noises he was making again?
Ulaka, la 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 la.
Yeah. Exactly.
That means dad. Dad.
Whenever you say that, who are you? Are you actually a Goliath?
He's
What
not
is
a Yeti
happening?
Slayer. Well,
Maybe he does.
What is
play
happening? Yeah, you said half Yeti, half
we don't-
Goliath.
we don't know if it's running at me like attacking.
I bet
saying
you do.
things.
I think it's funny.
Get that
as
grin
much
off
as
your
you're
face.
as much as you're moving our characters forward, it's funny to me that Josh like has so many assumptions about his character.
That aren't true.
Josh.
Apparently, he can become a rock and he's a Kool-Aid man. Both of those things are false, but I don't think he knows. that they're
Josh
false.
running headlong into the wall.
Immediately.
I almost lost my crap.
It was the
Like, what are you
first thing-
expecting to happen if like I ran into that wall right now? I would break bones. And he's just like, I'm gonna run through the wall.
But doesn't it seem very barbarian to try that though?
Yes, but and also I remember
Sure.
there was an episode of what is that show called? The Ultimate Fighter,
Mhm.
old UFC thing. It might have been the first or second season. But these dudes, they're warriors. I mean, they're basically barbarians, and they put a helmet on. And they were trying to run through the walls, literally running into walls with the helmet on head first, trying to break through the walls.
Did it work?
Here's the thing. I was going to let him try to do it.
Yeah,
Because
did.
how awesome would it have been if he ran through that wall and he was right there on top of the guy?
absolutely.
Like from just like a
He just
A
needed a
crazy-
15 or higher.
Well, I'm still a little bit of
And
a
he has, like,
follower.
a plus
guys
4 or
would probably
5.
See me army crawling through his hole, trying to join the fray. I'm coming.
creates a mouse
I'm coming, Gerbil.
in the wall.
Teddy would have been
Teddy
right there
gets
with him.
stuck.
Like, I got you, bro. Got your back.
my
15 or higher would have gotten it.
And he has like a plus 4 or something to
I
stream.
know.
Yeah.
I know.
So there's a strong chance that like he would have just gone through that wall.
That would have been bad because it would have reinforced his idea that because he thinks he can turn into rocks, that he can break things that he shouldn't be able to break.
That would have been amazing though. Like spoiler alert, he
It's
thinks he can turn into
hilarious.
rocks, but he
Yeah.
can't. As a
hilarious.
deep gnome, he can just blend in with rocks.
Yeah.
But he
thinks it means
He thinks so. Literally,
I need to ask-
up against a rock and change into a rock.
He's
no,
gonna
we're just like
run
you're still
right
you.
into
You're
the
just
head of the dragon and think he's gonna go rock form and like hit it in the head.
But I will
And
say
it's
there
gonna
will
open its mouth and
probably
chomp
be
it.
a moment that he has to hide amongst rocks and do
it'll
that,
matter.
and it'll be like the thing that like saves everyone because he hid amongst the rocks.
I need to ask him, like, okay, what is your character's actual backstory? Because each of you have given me things but him. And so I just keep forgetting to ask him, like, what's Gerbil's deal?
Like he's a deep gnome from where?
Yeah.
What deep part?
deep-
of
yeah.
That's
That's probably
Rock.
Well, he's from the Underdark, so same place as the Drow.
Oh, that'd be a fun little
That's why we
connection
wanna be
between
gods
those two.
together.
that. Like
That's dope.
Yeah.
Underdark's a crazy place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's
you
where
guys,
Teddy's from.
you guys think I'm a murder hobo, but my guy just has these tendencies of a drow that flare up. He doesn't remember being the drow, but those tendencies still exist.
How cool that I see everything very cinematic. Whatever you're telling me something, I'm like, okay, this is how I'm looking at this. If it were being like in a cinema format, and you figuring out, you see the dragon, and you don't know how your massive wound was placed there, and just like the electricity, very Palpatine-esque, just like that type of I don't know. That was very cool.
It was cool.
That whole story was like, I want to learn more about the army
Like you
of
just-
Drows trying to fight.
You just figured out what happened to you
Yeah, I've
in parts.
I've played a lot of these kinds of games, and had people try to do flashbacks a million times, and it's always kind of hokey. But that was good.
that had me
that
like
was
on the
fun.
edge of my seat. Like,
Yeah,
I gave
listening to
myself chills.
like
yeah.
I thought you were gonna say, and then he dropped you, and I was like thinking, oh, I'm falling through the air. I wonder how high. Like, is there more damage to my head? But then you didn't. You just faded it out.
Well, it kept being like, because it may not be how he got a scar.
Yeah.
Like that's how he left it.
Exactly.
Like there was constantly like moments of like, okay, then the tail swings around, like hits him in the head, hits him and breaks his ribs. Okay, something else happens. Then he shocks him with lightning. I was like, could lightning do that to his head? And you see these singes coming across, and like, that wasn't that. You know, like, and then he's flying through there, and the last thing you remember is like,
He dropped me on my freaking head. That's how
did he hit his head? Did someone?
So like more so thinking cinematically, the tail is what like it impacted in Teddy's chest and just like launched him like a rag doll through and like he went unconscious before he landed back on the ground.
Okay.
That's what we have. That's what I've sprinkled.
I
in here.
thought you. I
And-
don't know. That's even cool.
What if this old man found him? And removed parts of his brain
to save his life
to save his life,
because there was brain swelling. Operation.
but also made
Why are
sure
you
that he
looking at
erased
me?
his memories.
Why are you looking at me?
I'm just saying, there's so many possibilities.
Absolutely, there
He's
is.
your contact.
Austin
I just
or
like that
Atla?
the whole time this is happening is
The old
that
man.
he is
The old man, that's
screaming at the top of his lungs, and Atlas just like, shut up, there's Yetis, and like running him into the cave, like throwing him in there.
Yeah.
Cool.
Man,
That's
I'm
good.
ready for session 3.
Thursday.
We had only said that I prepped them for things for Yetis, but the dragon came,
Yep.
so it was like
the dragon.
spoilers is that like Yetis are very dangerous
Yeah.
and stay quiet.
Yeah.
They don't like sudden movements and they don't like loud noises.
Yes.
That's probably
And I
about
was
all you would have been
screaming.
able to like get out. And
Yeah,
then
and that's why when he started screaming and we had to run, I was like, "This is not good. We're in Yeti."
when
territory."
you said that, I imagined when you like grabbed his mouth that you like picked him up off the ground and I'm just like, just holding him by his like face. Shush,
No.
small man.
That's all that. That's all that baby.
Probably like baby
Yeti
cradled
is-
him in there, like
Like he had to give
Screaming
the vulnerability to fire to the other guy to make him weaker. He just downgraded this guy all the way down to baby
Right.
Yeti so we can kill it.
So we can
So
actually
now Teddy
fight
knows. Metagame maybe, but just shoot him in the
Oh,
face
man.
with a crossbow and be done with it.
I don't know.
Bye bye,
I mean-
puppy Yeti.
No, I'm grateful, Terry, that you've trusted me to weave this amnesia story
I'm
because
digging it.
you're still screaming and losing it.
Yeah.
But don't kill a
Kill who?
baby Yeti.
Oh.
Like
Yeah.
that is like Mama, you know not to like.
Yeah,
we're dead.
With
If,
the
that,
death sentence,
if that
yeah.
Yeti dies, it's
Yeah.
TPK.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
We're gone.
This is like
You wouldn't
finding
be
a
able to
baby
escape,
Yeti,
they would find
finding
you.
a baby Grogu. You know, like
I don't
take
like
care of this thing.
The conditions have to be just right for them to mate.
They do.
Thank you for that little.
I knew it. I'll let you
Do
know
they have
right
a
now.
second set of hands?
I did
Is
not know
what
that.
the-
Yeah, they have.
No, just like, stressor, environmental stressors and stuff like this. We can have a whole masterclass here on the reproductive cycle of a Yeti, but there's not very many baby Yetis is the whole point.
I don't think I'm ready.
Oh,
For
I was
that.
gonna say. So should Teddy be like, I wonder if I can make this work?
Make what work?
No, more so.
Okay, I thought you were
Make
telling us
what?
that.
No.
Make
No.
what Teddy
work,
would know, like,
Terry.
oh hey, make more babies.
No, more so like it's just rare.
How many campaigns have had a half drow, half Yeti?
None,
mean,
and there's a reason for it.
Okay, well, we'll leave it alone then.
Well, anything you guys are hoping for in the next session? Any wishes? Any misses?
Find out about Shulth.
Yeah.
Shulth.
Shulth.
Shulth. Shulth.
He'll be back.
That story.
Yep.
I mean, the dragon's still out there, so
Yeah.
Is Austin a Yeti baby daddy?
Is Austin a Yeti baby daddy?
Yeti baby daddy. Yeah. Is Austin a Yeti baby daddy? No, but
I really don't have any expectations. I want to play.
I want to play.
I want to play more.
Like,
I
and
just
I
want
love
more
ending
hit
like that.
points.
Of like me, like I am very excited to get into the next session.
When we level, are we leveling up pre-session? Okay, so
Yeah.
we come having leveled up.
Yes, I'll message everybody.
Except for
That's
Colin, he
favorite.
didn't fight that guy.
Yeah,
And decide what you want to do for
you
level
know
3 in case we
that's
hit
actually
it in
true
this
though,
session.
because
That's a
we're
good word.
doing.
Yeah,
Do what?
actual XP.
Will you ever level us up during a session?
I was saying, should we prep for 3 just in case you're like, all right, you got 60 seconds to go to 3.
No, I won't do that.
Okay.
If it's
chat.
early, if
would
it's
always-
early in the game, I will say, okay, you guys level up
Maybe take
to give you time.
maybe
but
take a
like-
break or something.
Yeah, or just we'll just kind of walk through it live.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Cool.
We'll metagame it. Hey, I'm adding this. Make sure you add.
Yeah.
Compliment it.
I would always
Yeah.
just kind of glance at the next level,
Yeah.
Yeah.
kind of have an idea. It helps
Well,
me
especially
with
because level
RP.
3 is so monumental to your character's development.
Yep.
So
There's things I'm doing specifically that lead me towards my level 3, and so on and so forth.
Anybody multi-classing? Okay.
Don't know yet.
that would be interesting.
Okay. We don't have to go
Any
into that.
and finally, anything you would want to have done differently for this session? Anything that could have been better, or anything?
Honestly, no.
Narratively, I think it was all very, very good.
I loved the RP of it. I loved the combat of it. The constant kind of leading of what's going on, like the Plesiosaurus moment, like each thing that we were led to. And again, we were kind of like I felt free to choose where to go, and it didn't ever feel like you were railroading us. It was just like, this is the exciting next thing for me to head towards.
Yeah.
Like it was just like, there was never like, oh, he's definitely like making us go over here. It was like, no, yeah, I want to go check this out. I want to head this direction. I want to know these things.
Yep.
So even like a little thing of like, I stare off into and you're like, I come over and do guidance, or like even just the RP side of it is just all.
Yeah. Like I remember just thinking, like, if I saw you doing that, I would figure you're looking for something, not literally looking for something, but in a state of thinking, of thought, of searching. Yeah. So tapped your arm, walked away. If you need it, take it.
That's cool.
I think so. That's
Yeah.
very much like a characteristic, I think, of Ruith
Yeah.
is
It's,
however we can help you. He's
it's
going to
fun
help.
to slowly figure out like the desires of other players in it. You know, like I'm trying to, like, Teddy's a wild card, you know, like, but I'm trying to figure out like, okay, how does he respond? Which is fun for Atla, because he's like, okay, I have to guide this direction, because he's like high intelligence, trying to figure out like,
Yeah.
how do I achieve what I'm trying to go towards, and like still trying to figure out an older dwarf who's adventuring with us. And I just think that's a lot of fun, of like just figuring out where they're just desiring, trying to do.
Yeah.
Seems like Josh over here is just like, I just want to prove myself
Yeah.
battle constantly. Claims almost killer of owlbear. It's just fun
Yeah.
to figure out what they're going to do.
My next big goal is to have some brilliant idea that helps us break through, because my social interactions are really weak. My charisma is low because I got damaged, but my intelligence is still high. So like if we need processing and computing power, I want to kind of prove myself so that you guys know you can lean on me for those things if you can get me to snap out of doing dumb things. But I haven't had an opportunity to prove myself in that area yet.
Also, Josh just asked if you could bring his MacBook charger to Central tomorrow.
I was already thinking about that.
Cool. Also, since like your experience has been more in Shadowrun than D&D, what do you like? Is this different or the same, or like in the realm of other games you've played in D&D so far? Or
I think the only I like the role playing part of this, that we have to kind of figure out how each other work a little bit more organically. I think Shadowrun made it a lot easier with the edges and flaws because you knew what to anticipate. Like there were things like vindictive was a trait that you could have, and it meant anytime anything did anything to you, real or perceived, any kind of like offense, real or perceived, you had to respond. There was also one, what was it called? It was Combat Monster, which the combination of having the two of those together were terrible, because Combat Monster meant if you did engage in a fight of any kind, you had to keep going until someone was unconscious or dead.
Oh my god!
So if you have Vindictive and you have Combat Monster, someone slightly offends you, it could progress
You're just
really
looking
quick.
for it.
But you would know, like, don't trigger him. Like you would know, and you're probably let's not trigger him because of this.
Hulk. It's kind of like a Hulk.
yeah.
But there were just a lot of like really, there were some mechanics like that were in there that almost kind of, but what it did, it almost feels like maybe that was more like role playing for dummies. Because if it is someone that just loves the combat side of it, and they don't really do any kind of personality traits, that forces you to. Whereas in D&D, I think more people are just naturally predisposed to, like, they love the role play of it. So
I'm trying to figure out exactly where Atla might take things too far, and understanding that too. So one thing about Goliath is they don't really back down from challenges. So like when we went to fight that guy, that's why Atla was constantly like running after, throwing the like stop, halt, like trying to get him to fight. But he does it more on the like, I can outsmart my opponent to defeat them. Whereas the barbarian or the Goliaths are typically like brute force strength. I'm going to prove my strength to win. It's more, I'm going to prove my intellect can win out versus strength. So that's one thing that I want to lean into more. And that's one thing, Terry, that I think you do really well as your character. You know and understand his flaws, and it comes out so much and just makes it for so much more of a fun experience of like, oh, you saw that he caused him to burn you with fire. I'm not going after him. Like it was like, what? Like, this is a terrible decision from like how do we like win the battle situation, but an amazing decision for storytelling. It was a blast.
But aren't in I think Drow, I need to double check. I've been playing it like they're like chaotic evil.
They're usually chaotic evil or lawful evil.
Yeah. So just in that, like it may be repressed right now, but he definitely felt the offense of, we're trying to kill this guy. You just impeded that, and you almost freaking killed me in the midst of it. So just that Drow I felt like would rise up within him. So yeah. It's fun.
I loved that sequence. It was super cool. It was insane.
So
All of a sudden, the enemy becomes like,
Doesn't even matter.
yeah, get out of my way, bro. That dude screwed up. Not okay. Not cool.
This was my little cheat sheet for Cephic's hit points.
Gosh.
Looks like it says
Damage.
214 on
Damage, heal, damage.
there.
Well, guys, thanks for joining us on the podcast. I can't wait for Tuesday, because I think this is going to be a great session. And I just can't wait for you guys to know the things that I know that you don't know.
I want to ask Chris, how did you feel as, being in the room for that session as a secondary DM as things are progressing through it? And what were your thoughts on it?
I had a lot of the same experience you guys were having about like learning more about the characters and wondering what's going on. But kind of on top of that, I had an opportunity to just like, okay, let's just make sure everything's running smoothly. Let's make sure people understand how rage works, not giving advantage on your attacks, and stuff like that. And actually, I screwed up the grapple rule, so I'm up one, down one on that one. Grappling does not give you disadvantage on your attacks unless you are prone, because those are separate. Grapple literally just sets your moves to 0 and has no other effects on you, which I think is stupid, but that's its own thing.
Yeah. Feels like a grapple should also be restrained.
Right.
You're grappling something.
Yeah. Well, restrained condition is really rough. It's like you cannot act. You have no actions or reactions.
Yeah.
So if you're restrained and grappled, you're just like, oh, I exist, and that's it. So, but that's not exactly the point. No, I've begun to enjoy DMing more over time. Because like I don't know, it scratches the itch of like facilitating this sort of thing a lot, and so it's cool to like be able to contribute a little bit in that respect and not have the weight of managing making sure all the whole story clicks together in it. I was pulling my own little shreds of Ram of the Frost Maiden experience together, and I was like, I feel like Michael's running the story really well, given certainly the story didn't think you were going to shoot the guy the moment you first saw him in a crowded room. Like certainly that wasn't prepared for. So it's cool to be able to take little things off your mind so you can focus on Terry and everyone else. But
You guys play with different people than I do. Usually we're like, no, I shot him first.
Shoot first, ask questions later. Good. Also, big shout out. Another thing I was excited about in the session was that we hit our 50 follower goal.
Come on,
during the session.
Sure did.
Which that's big for us as we push towards affiliate status and some of the things that it's going to be able to bring to the interactivity of the chat and to the viewers. So big thank you to our community, the people that are there from start to finish and chatting with us.
Yeah.
We're so thankful for you guys.
Yeah.
To be there, to be a part of it. I mean, you guys are why we do this, why we hang out in a garage for hours on a Thursday night and bring all this stuff together. So we're super thankful.
yeah, it's awesome.
Well, I'm glad that I get to lead this story. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see where it goes. And also be on the lookout because we're going to drop some links to our Discord soon and have a real community where you guys can talk to us and we can talk to you and each other, and it'll be fun. And just for Josh, I'm going to make a channel for everything because it seems on the internal side that you guys won't see, where we like have different planning things. I have channels for everything because that's just how my brain has to work and process. Like we have one for planning, we have one for planning and goals. We have one for like stream stuff. Anyway, I think Josh does not appreciate the organization. So
I appreciate
I'm
the
going to make
organization.
another channel tonight that's just called Josh's channel. And I'm only going to give him permission for it. Anyway,
you should make it etc. and etc. too.
Don't tell him that he's the only one that can see the channel. He hasn't been listening to podcasts anyway, so.
right. But yeah, we'll drop a link on Patreon and all the places once that's ready.
Yeah.
So thanks for listening. Thanks for being on this journey with us. And until next time, we'll see you later.
Bye.